welcome to another episode of Stories and Voices, the show where we share real life experience and discuss solutions to everyday challenges. I am your host, Emanuela. On today's episode, we'll be talking about a trending topic, tech. That is, we'll be discussing how persons with disability can go into tech, the challenges thereof, the benefits, and all the amazing aspects of tech. So I have an amazing guest here with me who will be doing justice to that topic. So let's meet.
Hi everyone, my name is Said. I'm glad to be here.
All right, welcome, Mr. Said. So can we meet you? Like, what does Mr. Said do?
Said Okerai. I'm an educationist and also an accessible tech enthusiast. I'm blind. Lost my sight at a very, very young age. Yeah.
All right, you're very much welcome to our podcast today. All right, we'll be talking about tech. So, tech is a current trend. So, what do you know? Like, what can you, a simple definition of what tech is?
Simply put, tech is anything that's going to make our lives easy, our lives worth living. Something as simple as a spoon or as rudimentary as a spoon is a tech. Back in the days, there was nothing like iron.
Yeah.
We were using stones to do practically everything. To eat, to light fire, until the metal age. The rest, they say, is history. Yes.
Okay, you said you're a tech enthusiast and you're an educationist. Okay, what part of education do you deal with?
Yeah, I'm a teacher. I teach history, but I use tech. With the aid of tech, I prepare my notes. I mark my students' scripts, and I upload their results using Excel.
Awesome.
And other softwares, yes.
Awesome. So now, this is a typical definition of tech, making life easier for us. Because as a visually impaired, you could use assistive technology to be able to mark your students' scripts and the rest of them. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So, as a tech enthusiast, what kind of tech are you interested in, or you are interested in?
Non-code. Basically, I like trying out apps to check how accessible they are with different screen readers. JAWS, NVDA, VoiceOver, TalkBack, name it. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Said. So now we want to bring it down to disability. We understand that tech is currently in vogue, and there are lots, both non-code and code tech. So which do you think, as a person with disability, could start with aside the certificate?
Well, first and foremost, non-code, because you need to have the basic knowledge of these things. You cannot go into coding without knowing how to use the computer, for instance. Okay. Having the basic knowledge of the computer, how to use softwares like Excel, Word, and before you now go into the advanced tools like VS Code and all that. Microsoft PowerShell. So you need to have the basic knowledge of the computer first. So non-code should come first for any blind person who wants to venture into tech, or anybody who wants to venture into tech. Yes.
Okay, now we are having challenges for persons with disability shying away in upskilling. Majority of them are focused on their certificates gotten from the university, and it is so obvious that it's not getting them the required job, the necessary job. So, and they are finding it difficult to switch career. And I know a lot of persons who have they've left their certificates and switched into tech, non-code and code tech, just to get a better job, a better paying job, and upgrade their standard of living. So what do we say? How do we create this awareness? How do we enlighten this group of persons with disability who are shying away in upskilling, especially or in switching career?
One major problem persons with disabilities have, those who want to go into tech, is funding. It's a big problem. I know people who are really passionate about tech, especially the code aspect. But one major problem they have, and they say this a lot, is funding. They don't have these things are expensive. Getting the certificates, it's quite expensive. Some of them are paid, and they're not just paid, but they are quite expensive to obtain. So funding is one problem, one major problem. And then the tools. To go into tech, you need a very good, not just a computer, but a very good one with large memories.
Yeah.
But a lot of people cannot afford to get them. So you need to have these computers before we now go into the tools they need. Thankfully, some of these tools are free. Some of them are free, but
what kind of what
I understand VS Code is free. That's Visual Studio Code, which is available on Mac, Windows, and Linux computers. I know that is free and quite accessible to any blind person who wants to venture into tech. But before you get there, of course, you need to have the knowledge. That's necessary, and that's where the problem is.
Okay, now you made mention of tools and gadgets being, and also funding being part of the challenge. Okay, if we have to bring it down, a lot of persons have, let's say 80% of persons with disability have access to an Android phone. And you can use your Android phone to do a lot when it comes to non-code tech. So don't you think it's something they can also explore? It's an angle they can also explore.
Yeah, it's an angle they can explore, but I tell people, unlike the iPhone, which is universal in terms of usage, in terms of accessibility, all Android phones are not the same. There are Android phones and there are Android phones.
Yeah.
And there are some Android phones that are quite challenging for a lot of people to use. Yeah. But they bought these phones because they are cheaper compared to Samsungs of this world, what's it called? Google Pixel.
Yeah.
So it's
Google Pixel is one underrated for a lot of people.
It is very, very underrated, and it is underrated because
people don't know the kind of features.
Yes, people don't know the kind of features it has, and also they are not. I don't know. I am tempted to say they are not available in Nigeria. They are available, but
they
are not advertised. They are not marketed
the way
it should. So that's one major problem. So. Yes, getting the Android, using Android phones is a channel, but how many people can afford the accessible ones, the good ones? Yes, so that's one challenge.
Okay, you made mention about certification courses, some that are free. Okay, I don't want us to go too deep into the code tech. Let us bring it down to non-code tech because it's like the basic that people can have access to. We know that currently, if you go online, especially on YouTube, there are access to a lot of free courses, the likes of virtual assistants, the likes of customer support, the likes of cold calling, email marketing. So, don't you think it's something as a person with disability can start up with?
Yes. It's definitely something you can start with, but the awareness is not there.
So how do we bring this awareness to them? Is it that they are just ignorant or they don't just want to push themselves to do it?
I'm sure there are a lot of people who want to do this. I'm sure there are a lot of people who want to go into non-code tech, but they need to have the necessary knowledge, the awareness of these online courses. And how do we
Create the
create the
awareness.
awareness. Like podcasts like this is a very good avenue. It's a very good avenue for that, and also by publicizing this on the social media, Facebook, which is very very popular with persons with disabilities. I don't want to mention X, but but Facebook is by far popular, so we can make this,
and it's accessible.
It's
so easy.
It's easy to use.
It's so easy
so
to use.
That's, I think we can start from there. Podcasts like this is very important. Although, thankfully, a lot of Nigerians now listen to podcasts, unlike before. So that's a very good avenue for spreading the awareness.
Okay, now you talked about funding initially. So how do we go about funding? We know that there are some organizations who are ready to fund persons with disability to get a skill aside what they learn in school, aside their certificate. So how does the government or other NGOs come in the aspect of funding?
Yeah, by sponsoring, giving us scholarships. I know an organization that offer courses on accessible programming using Python.
And it's free.
Access Tech Innovation. Well, it is free, but not
fully free.
How will I put it now? It's it has to be sponsored. It's not something because the person that the facilitator will have to be paid, of course. So that's one aspect. If the government or non-government organizations can partner with such organizations, organizations, it will be nice. I mean, a lot more and more people will learn how to code, not just coding, because non-coding as well.
All right. What are the opportunities? I know that there are a lot of opportunities in tech. So, what are the opportunities you feel as a person with disability can get if venture into tech?
Well, they can work in various organizations, of course, and
the job aspect is very
important. Yeah. And also, to be honest, we need more persons with disabilities into tech, especially in the aspect of app development. This is one area many of us find very frustrating. When you open an app, you find lots of unlabeled buttons, lots of. I mean, you begin to ask yourself, what's going on? I mean, obviously, if that app had been developed by a blind person, there won't be that problem. There won't be,
because he or she
understands better. Yes. So I think these are just some of just one or two examples of many opportunities that await any persons with disability that wants to venture into tech.
So how does a person with zero knowledge of tech switch into tech?
Yeah, just as I said earlier, first and foremost, you need to learn. Thankfully, there are lots of resources on how to use the computer, basic knowledge of the computer, before you even decide to venture into tech, both code and non-code. And then after that, you may now get yourself courses both online and from organizations that offer it, on courses that on how to use softwares like Excel before you even go into programming. Before you even go into programming, you need to have the basic knowledge of Excel first, especially Python. So you need to have that, and then from there, if you have the sponsor, you may now venture into courses on programming and other aspects of tech, advanced tech, that is.
Okay, do you think switching into tech it's a way of solving the problem of getting a job as a person with disability, especially here in Nigeria.
First, you have to have the passion for it. It's not if you
You know,
if you
it's
see
kind
it
of,
as
I think a lot of persons who are, a lot of techies, it's easy to employ them.
yes, it is actually. You have to have a passion for it before you say you want to. It's a way of getting a job. Because if you are not interested in it, you are just wasting your time. You find a lot of things difficult. Once you know that you are passionate about it, then
So you don't have to
it's
be passionate about what to put food on his or her table.
well, maybe that hunger, the hunger will make you know, passionate. If you are not,
You know, the reason why we are talking about tech
yes,
for persons with disabilities is because it's an angle that has not been explored. I've done a lot of research about it. Currently in Nigeria, we know that we don't have, I don't think there's up to 10% or 5% of persons with disability who are into tech. And it is as if persons with disability are shying away. I've done a lot of research recently and I noticed that not up to 5% of persons with disability are into tech. So you've made mention of funding as part of the challenges. But there are other free courses that they can access. So what is that thing driving person with disabilities? Are they shying away from going into tech? Or are they shying away from switching? Or they don't want to give themselves that push? You know, as the world is evolving, we ought to involve with it, right?
yes,
So we cannot stick to the old way of doing things. So, but persons with disability find themselves stuck in that old way of doing things. They are shying away from switching into tech. So, what do you think can be done about that?
yeah. I know one or two people who are into tech, but just as I said, funding, and yes, in as much as we like to say that there are free courses online, as free as these courses are, they are not adequate if we want to be, honest with ourselves. So
But they are basic that they can just one
yeah, they can start from
with.
there. They can start from there. But what's next? I mean, after finishing the courses, after completing the
At least you
courses,
have a knowledge. You have a
yes,
knowledge of
you have a knowledge
the
of
opportunity that makes you finish that course should
yes,
give you that energy or that eagerness to research more. How do I become or where do I get it better? You know, there are times where you need help, where you need this kind of thing, just like going to school afresh. And you know that period where you're looking for maybe funding for school fees,
yes,
and you've checked it, it's like you go the extra mile in seeking for help, in calling out for help, right?
yeah. Indeed, a lot of people do this, but it will get to a point if they are not getting positive response, they just drop off. And I know someone who has refused. Is so passionate about tech that he has refused to go for his first degree, and he's a brilliant guy, but he's hell bent on achieving his dream. Unfortunately, it hasn't come.
But is he still pushing?
Still pushing. I understand he's still pushing.
That's the fighting spirit you're talking about.
To get to a point that that fighting spirit will leave you if
he's motivated enough.
But getting the online courses is one very good step. If you are really passionate about it, it's one very good step you have to take. And then we go ahead and start applying for scholarships and funds and all that.
All right. How long have you been into tech?
Well, I got my first iPhone in 2014.
Wow.
My first smartphone in 2014, and I never looked back from there. Started exploring tech and using the computer and other aspects. And to be honest, it's been a very, very fruitful journey from there.
I like the fact that it has been fruitful.
Yes, it has been fruitful. At least I've learned a lot. Just that I'm not into I hope to venture there someday. But it's actually worth it for any blind person who wants to go into tech. It's worth it. Trust me.
All right. So your aspect of what aspect of tech do you deal with?
And I said I try out programs, apps to check for any accessibility issues, and then I recommend if necessary fixes. So that's basically what I do, and of course I edit documents to make them more accessible. Could be books, could be notes, anything, just to ensure that they are accessible to read for visually impaired persons, blind, and those who are sighted but not partially blind. Yes.
So now what you're saying in essence is your focus on mainly on persons who are visually impaired.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good angle. All right. Generally, for persons with disability, what do you think they will benefit if they venture into tech?
Yes, the exposure, the fact that they will be well known, not just in Nigeria but outside. They could get lots of recommendations to develop programs or apps. Of course, lots of money as well. Lots of money in the accounts.
That
and,
should be
and of course, the fact that they going to get a lot of funding from organizations. What's it called now? Grants to conduct research. So the exposure is quite limitless, if you ask me.
Okay, you made mention about you wish persons who are visually impaired to come up with app, to develop app because of the challenges the persons who are visually impaired to face when accessing some app. The issue of how did you put it?
Unlabeled buttons.
Yes. So now, if a person who is visually impaired wants to bring himself out to just go into this, to create this particular app, what are the challenges you think this person will face? And how does this person intend achieving that?
So basically, the person should ask himself this question: what do the people want? What do they want really? Where is the problem? Where is the problem really? And if you ask me, one major problem I think Android users have, for instance, is reading books.
Okay.
Lots of books, a lot of Android users, have, and they find it difficult to read these books because they don't have many options in the Play Store. Even the few options they have are either paid or outdated. So I think that's one aspect.
So now what you're saying, essence, is most Android phones are not so favorable for persons who are visually impaired.
Yes, in terms of reading books, in terms of reading materials.
Okay.
Some of the apps are paid, and a lot of people can't afford it. I think that's one. And then secondly, currency recognition. Although there's an app for that, but that one too is paid. So I think a lot of blind programmers, those who are into programming, need to look into that. And then the tools they need. I don't know if people are aware that in Nigeria there's this tool called Jet IntelliJ IDEA, which is common for it's commonly used by Java and Android programmers.
Okay.
It's a very, very good. I understand it's quite accessible. But I don't know if it's free or paid.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Not just paid, it's available
Generally.
everywhere. It's available generally. I know CS Studios is free, but I'm not sure about the Jet IntelliJ idea I talked about. I think it's a very necessary tool when it comes to app development. Um, so a lot of blind people need to look towards that as well.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So, what are the easiest soft-tech skills person with disability can venture into for start?
Data analysis is one aspect people need to get into. Analyzing
Why
data
data
with Python,
analysis?
because I think it gives you the basic knowledge of programming, if you ask me. With Python, with the use of Windows, I think it's Windows PowerShell, it's called now. Thankfully, I said it earlier that there's an organization that offers this course.
Yeah.
It's Access Innovation. So I think that's one aspect. Apart from having the basic knowledge of the computer and having the basic knowledge of Excel, I think data analysis is one aspect I think people should start.
Data analysis.
Yes.
Okay. But why data analysis?
I said that it gives you the knowledge of many things programming, when it comes to app development, when it comes to analyzing.
Not everybody wants to develop app.
Yes, it's not just about developing apps. It's about analyzing data generally, knowing what's what, and when it comes to data analysis, it's important for both code and non-code tech.
So, are there communities that support persons with disability who want to go into tech? Are there tech communities that support persons with disability who want to go into tech?
Those who want to go into tech, are you talking about in Nigeria or anywhere?
Anywhere.
Okay, there's this community I know of, lots of them in fact. Blind Help Project, which is they're on Facebook. I think they're on Telegram as well. There's what's it called? Accessibility 360 is a WhatsApp group that it's created by my good friend. It's there. In fact, we discuss anything accessible tech. There's Assistive Eyes Initiative. So many of them. At least on WhatsApp, I belong to more than a dozen tech groups.
You will have to share with me then.
Yes.
Yes, you will have to share with me. You can't just have all this knowledge and forward them, no? You can't just have all those opportunities and forward them.
Sure, definitely.
So now I want us to just we'll be wrapping up in a bit. So, what challenges just in a listed format? What challenges those persons with disability would face or are facing while venturing into tech?
Yeah, I mentioned funding. I mentioned the fact that they need to get not just a computer, a very good one. They need to get a reliable internet service provider, and then the tools. Thankfully, some of these tools are free. Before we even talk about tools, the systems, the devices must be enabled with speech synthesis, JAWS, NVDA, Chromebox, name it. And then before we now go into the tools, thankfully some of them are free. VS Studios is free. That's one challenge. One biggest challenge is funding. And then before we now go into the road to having the right laptops, the right softwares. Yes.
All right, with your experience so far, what advice would you give to persons with disability who would want to venture into tech?
It's simple. Start from somewhere. Let's assume the person is already computer literate. because computer literacy is very, very important. You need to, just as you suggested, take online courses that deals with accessible tech, and then talk to people, talk to programmers, people who are into tech generally. I would also recommend the person visit Accessible Tech Initiative, which is I can't remember the address now.
It's not an issue.
Yeah, but it's a very good avenue for getting updated about tech, even learning programming, study data analysis with Python as well. Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Sari, for
welcome.
this wonderful session.
It's my
for
pleasure.
This awareness, you mentioned so many things I wasn't even aware of, and I'm super grateful. All right, to my viewers out there, I want to use this opportunity to let us know that XFP Production is coming up with a boot camp and a skill acquisition training soon. It will be focusing on tech and other vocational skills. Tech like web development, script writing and content creating, videography, photography, for vocational skills, the likes of makeup artists, the likes of photology, and the rest of them. So I want you to pay attention out there till when the forms comes out, so that you will not miss out on this opportunity. And also, I want to use this medium to call for sponsorship to this great initiative, because we can't do it just on our own. We need the necessary funding. Just like my guest mentioned, that funding is part of the challenges persons with disability face in going into tech career. So we need the necessary funding. So all organizations out there, whether NGO, whether international body, we need the funding to be able to fulfill this initiative. So to know more about it or to contact us, kindly visit our website at www.xfpproduction.com, and you can also visit our social media handle at xfpproduction. So with this, we've come to the end of today's episode of Stories and Voices, and I am your host, Emanuela. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also like our videos on all our social media handles.